touch on. And although in this particular case with the story I'll start off with, we would probably talk about this outside of this segment, but I kind of just grabbed control of that a year or two ago, and now I've made it part of this segment, and that is the TV ratings, which is not the biggest deal in the world, but it's always fun to just look at kind of what the numbers are across college football and later on in the NFL as well. But coming off of this last weekend, and this is for no other reasons than just really truly interest in seeing who's drawing eyeballs and what kind of games are at the top of the list each week. One thing that has been fascinating and has interrupted the status quo of where it would always be Ohio State or Texas or just name the same 5 or 10 programs always at the top of this list. That has experienced a change-up this year because of one man by the name of Deion Sanders and his Colorado Buffaloes. And once again, Colorado on top of the television ratings, the highest watched game of the weekend in Week 5, 7.24 million for their home contest at noon on Saturday against USC, the only game to crack 7 million viewers. And that's now, 4 out of 5 weeks, I believe, that they've had the highest ranked game or close to it.
And it had the highest ranked game of the week when it was played at 9 o'clock in the morning, LA time, where it was being played.
The only one that was not won was the Nebraska game, and I think that was Texas, Alabama.
Yeah, so
Colorado was it was in Boulder.
Oh, it was in Boulder?
Yeah.
Also, but the team that was playing in it, the market that would have been most interested, LA, the major market you want,
right.
It was 9 o'clock in the morning. For 10 o'clock in the morning in Colorado. So it's still with the... You would think that sometimes the LA market would not get up in the morning and watch that. They clearly did because that market drives a lot of ratings numbers, which is why you get a World Series game on the East Coast that starts at 8:30 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's exactly right.
Yeah, no, they're pulling in big eyeballs, and they have been near the top of that list nearly every week at this point. But they had the top game this week with USC, 7.24 million people on Fox. Georgia Auburn pulled in 6.4 million over on CBS. Pretty competitive game there. Notre Dame Duke, 7:30 on ABC, 5.32 million. Those were your top 3 contests, and the only ones to crack 5 million in that 4 million range, 4.48. You had Michigan and Nebraska, the 3:30 kick over on Fox. So 4.48 there, pretty healthy number. LSU Ole Miss, 3.72 million. Alabama Mississippi State, 3.35 million. And then you got to Kansas, Texas at 3.32 million. And say what you want about Texas and Oklahoma and all that, but there is going to be a massive drop-off when you have actually 2 teams who are basically a guaranteed 2 million plus every single time they lace them up, no matter where, no matter when. That is going to be a big boost for the SEC, who's already dominating, as I mentioned, Georgia, Auburn, LSU, Ole Miss, Alabama, Mississippi State, Florida, Kentucky, all a part of the top 10. And actually a very interesting note in the tweet that I grabbed this from, Brett McMurphy had a screen cap of it as well, but somebody asked where's the some of the other SEC games, why are they not at the top? Like, I think the example was South Carolina, Tennessee, which is a primetime game. Well, those are on SEC Network. Mm-hmm. So they didn't have the Nielsen ratings, and that's why those wouldn't be there. Just mentioning that for anybody curious about, where's this? Well, it's on the SEC Network, so they don't exactly track that the same way. They're not Nielsen rated. So.
Where was Michigan, Nebraska?
Michigan, Nebraska was number 4 overall, 4.48 million. I thought I mentioned them.
The power of Nebraska football.
Yeah, I mean, that's another school that
Michigan football, yes.
Yeah, I mean,
but they do draw. They're always pretty high up there.
Yeah. So a lot of SEC there, but USC Colorado, the top game in week number 5, again, 7.24 million, a little less than a million more than Georgia and Auburn. The highest rated Big 12 game was Kansas and Texas. The next highest ranked game behind that was Cincinnati and BYU, 1.23 million on that Friday night game out in Provo. But as far as the future goes, just above that, Utah and Oregon State drew 1.28 million. So Utah and Utah alone for now coming into the Big 12 next year. But those are just some of the offerings. A lot of games. that didn't crack. Like Iowa State, Oklahoma actually didn't crack 1 million viewers.
Yeah, I saw 700,000 or so.
No, we're just talking about how that was almost an automatic, but
Yeah.
actually it wasn't in this case. So they had a little over 800,000 for that one. So, anyways, interesting just to kind of see the ratings unfold. But USC, Colorado, Georgia, Auburn, Notre Dame, Duke. Those were your top three, your gold, silver, and bronze this week as far as the highest rated games go.
Now,
Meanwhile,
I just want to say about the future Big 12, outside of the 7 million average televisions a week that Dion will bring in with him.
That'll make up for it, yeah.
Outside of that, the hope with the rest of the league is that it's so good year after year that you'll tune in because you know they're going to be good games.
Yeah, and competitive. By the way, when we had Barry Trammell on, do you know what he called the Cougars who are from Provo? Do you remember what he said about who they were? What did they say, Garrett?
I'm not saying it because I have to pay, but you know.
Yeah.
You hear what he said?
But he's also
He's my age.
But he's also he's also old.
Yeah, so I guess it was a thing back in the 70s.
I love Barry and I have no problem. I'll tell him he's old.
Yeah.
Paul, you would actually enjoy this. So, I didn't. You'll have to tell me, I guess, during the commercial break when
He called the university in Provo by its former full name.
Oh, okay.
The way I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'm just used to hearing it now, so it didn't make me think about it at all. But Colorado, and the reason I bring this up, because you'll like this, Paul, and Florida State are the only teams with multiple top 10 games as far as the ratings go. Florida State with 2, Colorado 5 out of 5. So there's the Dion effect that you hope.
Oh, and look, Florida State can take credit for the Colorado ones too because they gave the world Dion.
Yeah, there you go.
So
Even though
go.
he doesn't claim them, he's
Yeah.
getting the whole thing there.
Yeah.
But
he will again one day.
yeah, it doesn't claim him as a grad or alum,
Yeah.
right? Or alum. That's where the sticking point is. So, yeah, anyways, there's a little look at the ratings, and you hope that Dion sticks around if you're Brett Yormark and company and offsets the Oklahoma-Texas loss, but we'll see how that goes in the long run. Meanwhile, going on right now,